been a long road. It's quite an honor to be here today. I remember sitting where the students are about 16 years ago, so it's good to see an old professor from Lawrence Tech here. Tonight I'm going to basically talk about some of the key design elements of the vehicle, starting with the frame, the multi-piece body side outer, the flexible interior mounting, and some of the new federal regulations that we had to achieve in this vehicle. Starting with the frame, we worked with Tower Automotive, who you saw the big red frame out there. The goal was to have the best ride comfort and above average handling. To achieve this, we basically took the section strength, which is proportional to the section height cubed. And you can see down there, by increasing our section height, we have the most torsional rigidity out of the competitors. And you can see also we have the largest section compared to Ford and Chevy. And I won't speak about Sprinter because they don't have a frame. Regarding towing, we looked at the industry and we saw that most of the OEMs were offering a bumper hitch. We opted to go with a factory option frame-mounted hitch. And you can see there we achieved 9,500 pounds towing capacity, which is in the leader class up there with the Chevy Express, superior to the Econoline and Sprinter. When it came to the multi-piece body side outer, again, low cost of ownership was one of the key points. Is how can we reduce costs? What can we do to get this vehicle to the market at the best price? And so we looked at commonality, and the key things we looked at are how can we commonize for with and without window, and how can we commonize between the high and low roof vehicle. So the first thing we did is we looked at the competitors. We saw what was going on in the industry. We found out that the Ford Econoline had basically a unique body side outer for with and without window, and they had a common body side inner. And then we looked at the Chevy Express, and we knew they saw that they had a common body side outer and a unique inner. And one of the things we heard from the customers was on the Chevy Express, they're getting a lot of updates because there's no inner skin to protect the outer from cargo shifting inside there and hitting the wall. A lot of customers complained about the appearance, and when you're showing up in a professional environment, you want to have a good-looking vehicle. And then we looked at the Sprinter, and they had the best of both worlds. They had a common outer and a common inner. So how did we do it? We basically had a secondary stamping operation for our body side outer, where we came back in and pierced the windows when we needed them and left them when we didn't. And what we did is we maintained a constant section on the outside to accommodate for the windows, whether they were encapsulated fixed or pop out. And on the body side line, what we did is after we assembled the vehicle, if it had windows, you would see the inner H frame, and we'd cut that out with a secondary trim operation on the body line. By doing this, we reduced the number of dies from 16 to 8 and saved over $14 million. So all these panels, we looked at, basically we started with the European market. We looked at what was out there. And most of you are familiar with the Sprinter. You see them on the road all over the place. So what we did is we looked at the Sprinter. What is common between the high and low roof? And what we noticed was the extensions were unique, and that the rear body side panel was unique. And that the inner, the lower part was common between them. They basically have a common body side center and a common body side front, and then they have common sill sections. So we incorporated the same thing. When we got rid of the sill sections, we were able to, with our press capacity, incorporate the sill section into our body sides, front and center. So we were also able to commonize the roof center as well. So the only unique areas that we have are the roof front between high and low roof, and the extensions between high and low roof, and the rear body side outer. How we did that? Basically, we have a box section at the commonality area, and then we extended that up with two unique pieces depending on whether it was a high and low roof. And what we did is we kept the cross-car section of the roof common. The only difference is the position in Z height. And we're able to do that by allowing the roof bow to slide in and out on the brace depending on the roof height. So with all these joints, how do we seal it? How do we maintain the appearance? Again, we looked at what was going on in Europe. This is very common, these multi-piece structures. And what they do is they use a UV stable urethane for the vertical seams that allows for flexibility of the panels, allows for panel flexing so that you don't have paint seal cracks. And on the horizontal joints, we use a high weatherability paint seal similar to what we're already using in our roof ditches on our vehicles. When it came to the body, there's over 4,400 in-house welds. If you include the supplier welds, we've got about over 6,000 welds. That's a lot of welds. It's about 1,500 more welds for in-house than we do for a sedan. And there were some areas where we couldn't, or Joe wouldn't let us, the sales guy wouldn't let us have visible spot welds. So we ended up using a Dow Automotive 73305 adhesive, which is a standard adhesive that we were already using with Dow Automotive. And we used that in the roof ditch area and around the slide door pocket area where we had no access with the weld gun. And in the rear area, we used a new product from Dow Automotive, the Dow Betamate 1484, which is a high-strength structural adhesive. This was the first for Nissan. We worked with Dow Automotive over 2 years to develop this and get it approved and through all of our testing. And it's been a good product, especially in the D-pillar, especially with this vehicle being a long life. It has to go through a lot of durability cycles. So this new material meets that criteria. Next, I'll talk about the flexible interior. Basically, I'll go through the concept, the benchmarking that was involved, the upfitting, and partitions and D-rings. So we get this pretty picture from our chief product specialist. He wants a pegboard on the inside of the vehicle. The first thing that came to mind is my grandpa's garage. And I'm like, how's this thing gonna stay intact on a rough road? So we didn't know what to start with, but we started with some of the key points was have a cost-effective installation and easy to rearrange options for our customers. So what we did is we looked at what was out in the market. We bought a 40 Conline with an outfitted shelving. And one of the things we noticed was that all the outfitters were drilling into the body sides and installing rib nuts. And we thought, well, that's not so good. So we tested it. We tested it on our durability track in Arizona. And after we tested it, you can see there it basically cracks. That wasn't good enough. We wanted to be better. This is the first time in the market. We wanted to be the best. So what we did is we provided 16 mounting points on the side panel inner with a distributed load of 260 pounds. We offered 8 floor mounting points, each floor rated to 75 pounds each. And on the right-hand side, we provided 8 and 4 on the floor. How did we do that? We basically put an L bracket inside the body side panel inner using 1.2 thick SB 121 steel, basically extended it to help distribute the load and placed the nut plates on that. In the floor, we incorporated the nut plates into the cross members to help distribute the load through the floor structure. And this is the end result, and I'm sure you've seen the vehicle out there. It's a nice, clean outfit, easy for the outfitters to install, low cost to the outfitters for installation, and less risk to the customer. For the roof, we also thought of this. There's some concerns with, ladder racks or even storing pipes or long pieces of the roof. We provided 10 mounting points, tuber roof bow, all points using M6 weld nut, and it can hold up to 66 pounds evenly distributed. And here's an example of the ladder rack. Unfortunately, it's not in the vehicle tonight. This is an example of an Adrian Seal ladder rack. We also provided partition mounting. Since this is key to a lot of the outfitters require that a partition be installed. They're not just going to provide shelving without some sort of protection, because when stuff's on the shelves, it's going to move. So it's a requirement that these outfitters have, is that we offer a partition. So for the partition, we provided 4 floor mounts in the floor. We also provided 4 mounts in the body side and 5 mounts in the roof.